Her screams echoed through the house, but the walls swallowed them whole. Emma Carter, 25, stood in the doorway of her childhood home in rural Indiana, her suitcase at her feet, her mother's words still burning. "You're no daughter of mine." The screen door slammed shut, a final gavel on a life she thought she knew. It was a crisp October evening, the kind where the air smelled of bonfires and regret. Emma's auburn hair caught the fading sunlight as she stumbled down the porch steps, her leather jacket too thin against the chill of betrayal. She'd always known her small town wasn't ready for her truth, but she never imagined her own family would cast her out like a stranger. The word lesbian had slipped from her lips just once, a confession to her mother over coffee that morning, and now she was homeless, her heart a raw wound. She walked for miles, the weight of her suitcase dragging her shoulders down, until she reached the only place she could think of. Rosie's Diner, where Lily Nguyen worked the evening shift. Lily, 26, was everything Emma wasn't, soft where Emma was sharp, steady where Emma was a storm. They'd met 6 months ago when Emma, a part-time mechanic, fixed Lily's beat-up Honda. One shared coffee turned into late-night talks, stolen glances, and a love that bloomed in secret. Lily was the reason Emma had dared to speak her truth, and now she was the only one who could keep her from breaking. The diner's neon sign buzzed as Emma pushed through the glass door. The smell of fried onions and coffee hit her, a fleeting comfort. Lily stood behind the counter, her jet-black hair tucked behind her ears, her brown eyes catching Emma's like a lifeline. "Em? What's wrong?" Lily's voice was soft, but her concern was immediate. She rounded the counter, her white blouse swaying, and pulled Emma into a booth. "They kicked me out," Emma whispered, her voice cracking. "My mom. She said I'm a sin. My dad just stood there." Tears spilled, and she hated how weak they made her feel. Lily's hand found hers under the table, a quiet anchor. "You're staying with me," Lily said, her tone leaving no room for argument. "I don't care if my apartment's tiny. You're not alone." Her thumb brushed Emma's knuckles, and for a moment, the world felt less cruel. But the world had other plans. That night, as they walked to Lily's apartment, a black van screeched to a halt beside them. 2 men in dark jackets stepped out, their faces unreadable. "Emma Carter?" one asked, his voice cold. She nodded, instinct screaming danger. Before she could react, they grabbed her, shoving her into the van. Lily's screams faded as the door slammed shut, and darkness swallowed Emma whole. She woke in a sterile room, the kind that smelled of antiseptic and fear. A single bulb flickered above, casting shadows on cinderblock walls. Her wrists ached, bound by zip ties, and her phone was gone. A woman in a crisp suit entered, her smile too perfect, too practiced. "Welcome to Haven House," she said. "We're here to help you, Emma. To fix you." Haven House. The name sent a chill down her spine. She'd heard whispers of places like this, conversion camps disguised as safe houses for people like her. Her parents must have called them, desperate to erase who she was. The woman, who introduced herself as Dr. Helen Marsh, spoke of healing and normalcy, but her words were a cage. Emma's heart pounded. She wasn't broken. She loved Lily, and that love was the truest thing she'd ever known. Days blurred into a haze of lectures, prayers, and therapy sessions designed to shame her. The other residents, teenagers, mostly kept their heads down, their spirits crushed. Emma refused to break. She scratched Lily's name into the underside of her bunk, a quiet rebellion. At night, she whispered stories of their moments together. The time they danced in Lily's kitchen to an old jazz record. The way Lily's laugh felt like sunlight. Those memories kept her alive. But Haven House was a fortress. The windows were barred, the doors locked, and the staff watched her every move. Dr. Marsh was relentless, her sessions a mix of pity and manipulation. "You're confused, Emma," she'd say. "We'll help you find your way back to God's path." Emma bit her tongue, knowing defiance would only tighten the chains. She needed a plan, but hope felt like a fading ember. Back in town, Lily was a whirlwind of desperation. She'd gone to the police, but they dismissed her, calling Emma's disappearance a family matter. Her parents' silence confirmed her fears. They'd sent Emma away. Lily scoured the internet, finding rumors of a secretive facility an hour away, hidden in the woods. Haven House. The name made her blood run cold. She couldn't lose Emma, not to them, not to anyone. Lily wasn't a fighter by nature, But love made her fierce. She reached out to an old friend, Marcus, a journalist with a knack for digging up secrets. "I need your help," she told him, her voice trembling but resolute. "Emma's trapped, and I'm getting her out." Marcus hesitated. Haven House had powerful backers, but Lily's determination was infectious. They began piecing together a plan, one that would risk everything. Meanwhile, Emma found an ally in Sarah, a 17-year-old resident who'd been at Haven House for months. Sarah was quiet, her eyes hollow, but she knew the camp's routines and weaknesses. "There's a maintenance shed with a loose lock," Sarah whispered one night. "If you can get there, you might find a way out." Emma's heart raced. It was a long shot, but it was something. The next day, during a supervised reflection hour, Emma slipped a butter knife from the dining hall. It wasn't much, but it was a start. She hid it under her mattress, her pulse pounding with the thrill of defiance. She didn't know if Lily was looking for her, but she clung to the hope that their love was stronger than the walls around her. Emma would fight for herself, for Lily, for the life they deserved. As the days dragged on, Emma's resolve grew. She began to notice cracks in Haven House's facade. A guard who left his keys unattended, a window with a rusted latch. Her plan took shape, fragile but fierce. She didn't know how long she could hold on, but she knew one thing. She'd rather die than let them steal who she was. Emma's days in Haven House settled into a grim rhythm, each one a test of her will. The butter knife under her mattress was her secret, a tiny spark of rebellion in a place designed to extinguish her. Every night, she traced Lily's name on the bunk, whispering it like a prayer to keep her heart from breaking. The camp's routine was suffocating. Mornings began with group prayers, where Dr. Marsh's voice dripped with false compassion, urging them to reject their sinful desires. Emma sat in the back, her jaw clenched, her green eyes burning with defiance. She noticed the others' kids as young as 15, their faces pale with fear or resignation. Sarah, her bunkmate, was the only one who met her gaze. They'd started exchanging notes, scribbled on torn bits of paper, hidden in the seams of their clothes. "We're not wrong," Sarah wrote once, and Emma clung to those words like a lifeline. Her chance came during a rare outdoor session, a team-building exercise in the camp's fenced-in yard. The air was sharp with autumn's bite, and the guards were distracted, arguing over a football game. Emma spotted the maintenance shed Sarah had mentioned, its door slightly ajar, the lock rusted and weak. Her pulse raced. She pretended to tie her shoe, inching closer, the butter knife tucked into her sleeve. When a guard turned away, she slipped inside. The shed was a mess of tools and cobwebs, but there in the corner was a miracle. An old rotary phone, its cord frayed but intact. Emma's hands shook as she dialed Lily's number, praying it would work. The line crackled, then connected. "Lily," she whispered, her voice breaking. "It's me. Emma." Lily's voice was a sob, a burst of warmth in the cold. "Where are you? Are you okay?" "Haven House," Emma said, keeping her voice low. "It's some kind of conversion camp. I don't know where exactly, but it's in the woods. Lily, I'm scared, but I'm fighting. I need you to." The line went dead. A guard's shadow loomed in the doorway, and Emma dropped the phone, her heart in her throat. She hid the knife just as the guard grabbed her arm, dragging her back to the main building. "No more games, Carter," he growled. Dr. Marsh was waiting, her smile gone, replaced by a cold stare. "You're not ready to be fixed, are you?" she said, and Emma was sent to isolation, a windowless room with nothing but a cot and her thoughts. In town, Lily was unraveling. The call from Emma, though brief, had lit a fire in her. She and Marcus were working around the clock, digging into Haven House's shadowy existence. Marcus found a leaked document online, a funding proposal linking the camp to a network of religious organizations. It listed an address, a secluded property 50 miles north, hidden in Indiana's dense forests. "This has to be it," Lily said, her brown eyes blazing with determination. She wasn't sleeping, barely eating, driven by the need to save Emma. Marcus warned her about the risks. "These people have money, Lily. They've got lawyers, maybe even local cops in their pocket." But Lily didn't care. She'd spent her life being the good girl, quiet and accommodating, but losing Emma had shattered that. She was done waiting for permission. They planned a reconnaissance trip, borrowing Marcus's old pickup truck. The drive was tense, the road winding through endless trees, the sky heavy with clouds. When they reached the property, a wrought iron gate blocked the entrance, a sign reading Haven House, a place of healing. Lily's stomach churned. She could feel Emma behind those walls fighting to hold on. They parked a mile away, sneaking through the woods to get a closer look. The camp was a fortress. High fences, security cameras, and guards patrolling the perimeter. Lily's heart sank, but she noticed something: a delivery truck parked near a side entrance, its driver distracted. "That's our way in," she whispered to Marcus. He nodded, though his face was tight with worry. Back at Haven House, Emma endured isolation, the silence pressing against her like a physical weight. She scratched at the walls, leaving faint marks, a way to prove she was still here. Dr. Marsh visited daily, her voice a mix of pity and menace. "You can't run from who you're meant to be, Emma," she'd say. But Emma's mind was elsewhere, replaying Lily's voice on that fleeting call. She knew Lily was coming for her. She had to be ready. One night, Sarah slipped a note under the door. "Tomorrow. Kitchen duty. Loose window." Emma's breath caught. It was another chance, maybe her last. She clutched the butter knife, now sharpened against the cot's metal frame, and waited for dawn. The kitchen smelled of bleach and overcooked oatmeal, a grim reminder of Haven House's sterile control. Emma stood at the sink, scrubbing pots during her assigned duty, her eyes darting to the window Sarah had mentioned. It was small, barely a foot wide, but its latch was rusted, the glass fogged with age. Her heart pounded as she worked, the butter knife hidden in her waistband, a silent promise of escape. Sarah was across the room, peeling potatoes, her movements deliberate to avoid suspicion. The guards were lax today, distracted by a staff meeting. Emma caught Sarah's eye, a silent agreement passing between them. This was it. She edged toward the window, her hands trembling as she tested the latch. It gave slightly, enough to fuel her hope. But before she could act, Dr. Marsh's voice cut through the room. "Emma, step away from there." Emma froze, her pulse a drumbeat. Dr. Marsh stood in the doorway, her eyes narrowing. "You're not where you're supposed to be," she said, her tone deceptively calm. Emma's mind raced. She could lunge for the window, but the guards were too close. Instead, she straightened, forcing a neutral expression. "Just cleaning," she lied, her voice steady despite the fear clawing her chest. Dr. Marsh didn't buy it. She gestured to a guard, who escorted Emma back to isolation. As the door locked behind her, Emma's hope flickered but didn't die. Sarah's note had given her something to hold on to, and Lily's voice from that brief call echoed in her mind. She wasn't alone. Not yet. Outside, Lily and Marcus were finalizing their plan. The delivery truck was their best shot, arriving every Tuesday with supplies. Lily had watched it for 2 days, memorizing the driver's routine. He left the gate open for exactly 5 minutes while unloading. That was their window. Marcus had managed to get a burner phone and a map of the area, but he was nervous. "If we get caught, Lily, this could ruin us," he said, his voice low. "I'd rather be ruined than lose her," Lily replied, her brown eyes fierce. She'd never felt this kind of courage before. A fire born from love and desperation. Marcus nodded, won over by her resolve. They set the plan for the next delivery 2 days away. Lily would slip in with the truck, posing as a worker while Marcus kept watch. If things went south, he'd call a contact at a local news station to blow the whistle on Haven House. The night before the rescue, Lily couldn't sleep. She sat in her tiny apartment, clutching a photo of her and Emma from a summer fair, their arms around each other, laughing under a string of fairy lights. The memory felt like a lifeline. She whispered to the photo, "I'm coming, hold on." Her heart ached with the distance between them, but she wouldn't let it break her. Back at Haven House, Emma was losing track of time in isolation. The walls seemed to close in, the air thick with despair. But she refused to give up. She used the butter knife to carve a tiny heart into the cot's frame, a reminder of why she was fighting. During a rare bathroom break, Sarah slipped her another note. "Tomorrow. Truck. Be ready." Emma's breath caught. She didn't know how Sarah knew about the truck, but she trusted her. This was her chance. The next morning, Emma was back in the kitchen, her eyes scanning for any opportunity. The delivery truck rumbled into the yard, and her heart leapt. She saw the driver, a burly man in overalls, unloading crates. Then, a figure stepped out from behind him, a woman in a worker's cap, her face partially hidden. Emma's breath stopped. It was Lily. Their eyes met across the yard, a silent vow passing between them. Lily moved quickly, blending with the delivery crew, her movements purposeful but cautious. Emma's hand shook as she scrubbed a pan, waiting for the right moment. The guards were distracted, checking the crates. Sarah nodded subtly, and Emma edged toward the window again, her fingers prying at the latch. It gave way with a soft creak, just enough for her to slip through. She dropped to the ground outside, her heart pounding. Lily was there, pulling her into the shadows of the truck. "We don't have much time," Lily whispered, her voice trembling with urgency. They crouched behind a stack of crates, the guards' voices echoing nearby. Emma wanted to collapse into Lily's arms, but there was no time for that. They had to move. The air outside Haven House was sharp, freedom so close Emma could taste it. She and Lily crouched behind the delivery truck, their breaths shallow, their hands clasped tightly. The guards' voices grew louder, their boots crunching on gravel. "Check the crates," one barked, and Emma's heart slammed against her ribs. Lily's brown eyes were steady, though grounding her. "We're getting out," Lily whispered, her voice a lifeline. The plan was fragile. Slip into the truck's cargo hold while the driver was distracted, hide among the boxes, and pray the gate stayed open long enough for them to escape. Emma nodded, her pulse racing as Lily led the way, moving like a shadow. They climbed into the truck, the smell of cardboard and diesel wrapping around them. Emma's leather jacket caught on a crate, and she stifled a gasp, but Lily's hand steadied her. They burrowed deep, pulling a tarp over themselves, their bodies pressed close in the dark. The truck's engine roared to life and Emma's hope surged. But then a shout. "Stop the truck!" Dr. Marsh's voice, sharp and commanding. The vehicle lurched to a halt, and Emma's stomach dropped. Lily gripped her hand tighter, her breath warm against Emma's ear. "Stay quiet," she mouthed. Footsteps circled the truck, and Emma heard the driver argue. "I checked everything already." But Dr. Marsh was relentless, her suspicion a knife's edge. The tarp shifted slightly, and Emma's heart stopped as a guard's flashlight beam swept over the cargo hold. The light missed them by inches, but the danger wasn't over. Dr. Marsh ordered a full search. Emma's mind raced. She couldn't go back to that cell, that suffocating room where they tried to erase her. She felt the butter knife in her waistband, useless now but a reminder of her fight. Lily's eyes met hers, fierce with love, and Emma knew they'd face this together, no matter what. Then a miracle, Marcus. From their hiding spot, Emma heard his voice, loud and deliberate, at the gate. "Hey, I'm with the press. Got a tip about this place." He was causing a scene, drawing the guards' attention. The flashlight beam vanished, and the truck's door slammed shut. The engine started again, and the truck rolled forward through the gate into the night. Emma didn't dare breathe until they were miles away, the camp's lights fading in the distance. When the truck stopped at a gas station, Lily pulled her out, and they ran into the woods, collapsing against a tree. Emma sobbed, her face buried in Lily's shoulder, the weight of weeks in captivity spilling out. "You came for me," she whispered, her voice raw. Lily kissed her forehead, her own tears falling. "Always," she said. But they weren't safe yet. Haven House wouldn't let Emma go so easily, not with their reputation at stake. Lily had Marcus's burner phone, and she called him, her voice shaking but resolute. "We're out, but we need a place to hide." Marcus gave them an address, a safe house, the real kind, run by an underground network for people like Emma. It was a risk, but they had no choice. They hitched a ride to a nearby town, keeping their heads low. The safe house was a small cabin, tucked in the woods, run by a woman named Clara, a former Haven House escapee. Her face was lined with years of pain, but her eyes were kind. "You're safe here," she said, offering them blankets and hot tea. Emma and Lily sat together on a worn couch, their hands still intertwined, the world outside feeling both distant and dangerously close. Clara told them the truth about Haven House. It was part of a larger network, funded by powerful groups who saw people like Emma as threats to their version of morality. "They'll look for you," Clara warned. "But they're not invincible. You've got a voice, Emma. Use it." Those words struck deep. Emma had spent weeks silenced, but now freedom was in her grasp, not just to escape, but to fight back. That night, as they lay in a narrow bed, Lily traced circles on Emma's palm. "We're going to be okay," she whispered, her voice soft but certain. Emma nodded, though fear lingered. She thought of Sarah, still trapped in Haven House, and the others who didn't have a Lily to save them. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. The cabin's safety was a fragile shield, but it gave Emma and Lily time to breathe. By day they helped Clara with chores, chopping wood and cooking meals, their hands brushing in quiet moments that felt stolen from the world. By night they planned. Emma couldn't shake the image of Sarah's hollow eyes or the other kids at Haven House, their spirits crushed under the weight of shame. She wanted to burn the place down, not with fire but with truth. Marcus arrived on the third day, his laptop loaded with research. He'd been digging deeper, finding court records and whistleblower accounts that exposed Haven House's abuses. "This could be big," he said, his voice tinged with excitement. "But we need a spark, something to get people's attention." Emma's heart raced. She wasn't a writer or a speaker, but she had a story raw and real that could break the lock on Haven House's lies. With Clara's encouragement, Emma began recording her experience. She sat at the cabin's rickety table, a borrowed phone in hand, her voice trembling at first. "My name is Emma Carter," she began. "I'm 25, and I was sent to Haven House because I love a woman." She poured out everything: the betrayal of her family, the cold walls of her cell, the way Dr. Marsh tried to twist her soul. Lily sat beside her, her presence a steady warmth, whispering, "You're doing it, Em. You're fighting." The recording took hours, Emma's voice growing stronger with every word. She spoke of Lily, their love a quiet rebellion against a world that tried to erase them. She spoke of Sarah, who deserved a chance to be free. When she finished, her throat was raw, but her heart felt lighter, like she'd reclaimed a piece of herself. Marcus uploaded the file anonymously to a forum he knew journalists monitored, tagging it with Haven House's name. "This could go viral," he said, but Emma didn't care about fame. She cared about justice. The response was swift. Within days, the recording spread across social media, shared by activists and allies. People posted their own stories, hashtags like "Shutdown Haven House" trending across platforms. News outlets picked it up, and protests formed outside Haven House's gates. Emma and Lily watched it unfold on Marcus's laptop, their hands clasped, tears streaming down their faces. "You did this," Lily whispered, kissing Emma's temple. Emma shook her head. "We did this." But Haven House fought back. Their lawyers issued statements calling the accusations lies, painting Emma as a troubled runaway. Her parents appeared on a local news channel, their faces grim, claiming they'd only wanted to help her. The betrayal stung, but Emma wasn't surprised. She'd learned that love, even family love, could be conditional, and hers wasn't. Clara's network connected them with a lawyer, a fierce woman named Rachel who specialized in cases like theirs. She filed a lawsuit against Haven House, citing human rights violations, with Emma's testimony as the cornerstone. Sarah and 2 other residents escaped a week later, their stories adding fuel to the fire. The camp's funding began to dry up, sponsors pulling out under public pressure. By winter, Haven House was under investigation, its gates locked for a different reason. Emma and Lily moved to Chicago, a city big enough to hold their dreams. They rented a tiny apartment, its walls covered in photos of their new life, laughing at a pride parade, kissing under a streetlight, building a future together. Emma found work as a mechanic, her hands steady again, while Lily enrolled in art school, her sketches filling their home with color. They weren't rich, and the scars of Haven House lingered, but they were free. One evening, as snow fell outside, Emma got a call from Sarah. She was safe, living with a foster family, her voice brighter than Emma had ever heard. "You saved me," Sarah said, and Emma's heart swelled. She looked at Lily, curled up on their couch, and realized the truth. Love hadn't just saved them, it had changed the world. Emma's voice, once silenced, had become a beacon. It broke the lock on Haven House, on shame, on fear. She and Lily held each other close, their love a quiet triumph, proof that even in the darkest places, truth and courage could light the way. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.